Alright, today we're going to do the Punic Wars. Now, as we've talked about, Rome was a superpower in Europe. And there were really two superpowers in the world at that time. There was Rome in Europe, and there was Carthage in Africa. They didn't like each other. It was like Carolina-Duke rivalry, Duke-Carolina-Duke state. They didn't like each other. They wanted to fight over just about anything. And they were willing to lose lives to see who was superior. But before we talk about the war to end the rivalry, we have to talk about who Carthage was. Carthage was a powerful trading empire in northern Africa, really close to Egypt. There's countries that separate it, but it's close to Egypt. That's geographically, that's the way we're looking at it. They are the world's most advanced seaport, which means they have one of the largest navies of its time. They conquered three main areas that would lead to the Punic Wars that we're going to talk about today: Sicily, Sardinia, and Spain. Now, they conquered these three areas, and Rome says, we're going to stand up for these smaller areas of their time, and we're going to go out and try to take down this big old bad Carthage. So what was the Punic Wars over? The Punic Wars were over the trade in the Mediterranean Sea and who was going to have the power in the Mediterranean Sea. Now, there are three Punic Wars that we're going to talk about. The first Punic War was fought over control of Sicily, one of the three areas that Carthage took over. It began in 264 BC, and it began as a more naval battle between Rome and Carthage. But Rome did not surrender to Carthage's powerful navy. Rome began equipping their ships with these large grappling hooks. Imagine a fishing hook and then times it by about 25, and then it weighs anywhere from 50 to 100 pounds. They would swing it above their head, and then they would toss it. And then they would pull the boat closer and closer and closer to them. Once they put it closer to them, the Romans would jump on top or onto the Carthage boat, and you have hand-to-hand combat that way. So it takes from a naval battle to a more on-the-ship battle. The Carthage group says, we're losing these naval battles this way, let's turn it to land. As a result, they turn the naval battle into a land battle, and Rome ends up winning the first Punic War. But there are three Punic Wars. So what happens? Carthage isn't just going to sit there and take defeat easy. A young general emerges for Carthage. His name is Hannibal. Some of you have heard of the name Hannibal before. This is where the name Hannibal comes from. He leads the Carthage army from Spain up through the Alps. The Alps is the mountains, and invades from the north. So he comes down from the north. He defeats Rome. He has 50,000 men, 9,000 cavalry, and 60 elephants. Now, elephants, why? Because they were the biggest. They were what they had the most of, and Carthage thought that they could take the elephants and run them over, before horses. So elephants were the superior war animal at that time. Rome was unable to defeat Hannibal. As a result, the only way to defeat him is leave. Rome says, let's leave. They sail through the Mediterranean and land in a surprising spot in Carthage, the hometown of Hannibal, the group they're fighting. They land on the coast of Carthage. Hannibal, if you're on somebody's home turf, you got to chase them. So Hannibal's chasing. Rome defeats Hannibal outside the streets of Carthage, or outside the walls of Carthage. So Hannibal wins the first battle, but Rome wins the second Punic War. Let's talk about the final Punic War. The third Punic War. It wasn't much of a battle. Rome steamrolls right over them. After Hannibal loses, Carthage emotions are way down. their momentum is down. So Rome destroys Carthage. They make matters even worse. They said, we don't want to have to battle Carthage ever again. So they sell all Carthage's citizens into slavery. They make the Carthage citizens rebuild and build things of Rome, monuments of Rome. Not only that, they didn't want Carthage to ever exist again. So what they do is they burnt Carthage to the ground. You walk into Carthage today, you wouldn't know it was Carthage of ancient times. They burned it to the ground and they salted the earth. Now you're thinking, salted the earth? Why would they put salt on earth? After you burn something, if you put salt on it, nothing grows there ever again. So they burn the crops, they put salt on the crops, nothing grows there for thousands of years. And Rome wins the entire Punic War, and this leads to Rome's greatness, their kingdom, their empire to be spread much, much farther than they have ever imagined.